Improving memory doesn't have to be a challenge. You've probably heard someone say they have a bad memory or that they forget everything. Maybe you even identify with that yourself. But the truth is, your memory isn't fixed, it's not something you're simply born with and that's it. In reality, improving your memory is much easier than it seems, and today I'm going to show you how. Let's start by understanding the basics of how your memory works. Imagine your memory as a filing system. Every time you learn something new, you create a new file. But unlike a computer system, your mind doesn't automatically organize these files. Sometimes information gets lost, mixed up, or simply stored in a way that makes it hard to retrieve. And that's the problem. It's not that you don't have a good memory, it's that maybe you're not using the right techniques to file that information. Now, think about this. When you go to the grocery store and need to remember to buy several things, what do? You probably make a list, right? That's a way of helping your memory by creating an external system to organize information. But what if I told you that you could create internal systems to improve your memory without needing to write everything down? That's what we're going to explore here. One of the simplest and most effective ways to improve memory is through image association. Let me give you an example. Imagine you need to remember to buy eggs, bread, and milk. Instead of just trying to memorize those items, imagine a scene. You're cracking a giant egg over a huge slice of bread that's floating in a sea of milk. Sounds silly? Maybe. But the point is that our brains are incredibly good at remembering bizarre and vivid images. When you associate information with images, especially ones that are unusual or funny, it becomes much easier to recall them. Another powerful technique is the story method. This is an old trick but incredibly effective. It works like this: instead of trying to memorize a list of disconnected facts, you create a story that links all those facts together. Let's say you need to remember a list of words: dog, cake, car, and tree. Create a story where you're walking with your dog who suddenly jumps into a car and starts driving toward a big tree where there's a cake hanging from the branches. The story might seem strange, but it's precisely that strangeness that makes it easier to remember the words. These techniques work because they take advantage of the way our brain already operates. The human brain is programmed to remember things that are different, unusual, and visually striking. When you turn ordinary information into something visual and emotionally significant, you make it easier to recall when needed. Now, let's talk about something that many people underestimate: spaced repetition. What does that mean? Basically, it's reviewing what you've learned at specific intervals. Most people try to memorize something by repeating it continuously, but what works better is reviewing the information after some time. Let's say you learned something new today. Review it tomorrow, then in 3 days, then in a week. This spacing between reviews makes the information more easily stored in long-term memory. Imagine your memory is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. But just like with any exercise, you need to give it time to recover and strengthen. Spaced repetition is like a training regimen for your brain. Instead of overloading it with information continuously, you give it small breaks, allowing it to process and consolidate what you've learned. Besides the techniques you can apply directly, there are some habits that can significantly strengthen your memory. Let's talk about sleep. It's no secret that a good night's sleep does wonders for your health, but did you know that it's during sleep that your brain consolidates memories? This means that if you're not getting enough sleep, your brain isn't getting the chance to process and store all the information you absorbed during the day. Try to maintain a consistent sleep routine. Avoid using electronics before bed, as blue light can interfere with your natural sleep cycle. Small changes like these can have a big impact on your ability to remember things. And speaking of health, regular physical exercise is also a great ally for memory. When you exercise, your brain gets more oxygen, which helps create new connections between neurons. We're not talking about becoming an Olympic athlete, but small changes, like a daily walk or taking the stairs instead of the elevator, already make a difference. Another important piece of this puzzle is nutrition. Think of your brain like a luxury car. It needs the right fuel to function at its best. Foods rich in antioxidants, like berries, nuts, and fish with omega-3, are excellent for brain health. These foods help protect brain cells and improve cognitive function, including memory. Now, let me tell you about something that's gaining more and more attention: mindfulness. Mindfulness is basically being present in the moment, aware of what you're doing and feeling. When you practice mindfulness, you're training your brain to focus better, which naturally improves your memory. A simple mindfulness technique you can start using now is conscious breathing. Whenever you notice your mind wandering, stop, take a deep breath, and bring your attention back to the present. Over time, this becomes a habit that strengthens your concentration and memory. It's important to remember that improving memory isn't something that happens overnight. But with consistency, small changes in your routine, and the techniques we've discussed, you'll see significant improvements. The key is to practice regularly and find the techniques that work best for you. It's not about transforming your life overnight, but rather about building a set of habits that, over time, will transform your ability to remember things. And last but not least, I want you to know that memory is a skill that can be improved at any age. Many people believe that as they get older, their memory naturally declines, but that doesn't have to be true. Your brain is incredibly plastic, which means it can adapt and improve at any stage of life. It's never too late to start strengthening your memory. Over time, you'll notice that these small but consistent changes will make a big difference in your life. Maybe you'll start to notice that you remember people's names more easily, that you can study for a test without having to review everything at the last minute, or even that you feel more present in conversations and daily activities. And you know what's even more interesting? These improvements will not only help you remember things but will also boost your confidence. When you realize your memory is improving, it gives you a sense of control and competence that reflects in other areas of your life. It's a positive cycle. The more you practice and see the results, the more motivated you become to keep improving. Another thing worth mentioning is that by improving your memory, you're also taking an important step toward caring for your long-term mental health. Studies show that keeping the brain active and challenged can help prevent memory problems and cognitive diseases as we age. So, it's not just about remembering where you left your keys or what you need to buy at the grocery store, it's about investing in your future well-being. Now, think about all the opportunities you might miss if you don't give your memory the attention it deserves. Imagine forgetting important details in a work meeting, or not being able to remember something crucial during an interview. These moments can be frustrating, but the most important thing is that they're avoidable. By applying the techniques and habits we've discussed, you can turn these potential weaknesses into strengths. If you've tried to improve your memory before and didn't succeed, don't get discouraged. Maybe what was missing is exactly what we discussed today: the right strategies and persistence. Remember, any skill requires practice, and memory is no different. Each time you use one of these techniques, you're building a stronger foundation for the future. And speaking of the future, think about how gratifying it will be to look back and see how much you've evolved. Think about how good it will feel to know that you have control over a skill that many believe to be uncontrollable. Knowing that you can trust your memory in any situation is a kind of freedom that few things provide. Moreover, you can share these techniques with the people around you. Maybe a friend or family member is also facing memory challenges, and now you have the tools to help. And by teaching someone, you not only reinforce what you've learned but also multiply the benefits of these practices. Let's be clear, there is no magic formula or shortcut to transform your memory overnight. What exists is a set of practices that, when applied consistently, bring real results. It's a process, a journey. And like any journey, what matters is the progress you make along the way, not instant perfection. Think of each day as a new opportunity to strengthen this skill. Every time you use a memory technique, you're actually investing in your future. You're building a solid foundation that will support you in all areas of your life. It's not just about remembering facts and numbers, it's about becoming more aware, more present, and more capable of handling the challenges that arise. And never underestimate the impact that these changes can have in the long term. Continuous improvement, no matter how small, accumulates over time. It's like a snowball that starts small but gains mass and speed as it rolls. 6 months from now, a year, or 5 years, you can look back and be amazed at how much you've evolved. And most importantly, remember that you deserve this transformation. Changing your memory, improving your cognitive abilities, is a way of taking care of yourself, investing in who you are and who you want to become. So, don't be afraid to start, don't be afraid to try new techniques, and most importantly, don't be afraid to fail. Every attempt, every mistake, is a lesson that brings you closer to success. At the end of the day, what really matters is that you're in control. Improving your memory is, in fact, easy because it's in your hands. You have the tools, you have the knowledge, and now you have the motivation to start. All you need to do is take the first step. And when you do, you'll see that the path to a stronger memory and a sharper mind is simpler than you imagined. So, go ahead. Start today. Apply a technique, make a change, and watch how your life begins to improve. You'll be surprised at how much you can achieve when you decide you're ready to change. Remember, improving memory isn't a challenge, it's an opportunity. And now, that opportunity is right in front of you. Seize it. So, which of these techniques did you find most interesting and are excited to try? Have you tried any of these strategies before? If so, how was your experience? And how about sharing in the comments what your biggest challenge is when trying to remember something important? If this video helped you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to stay on top of all the new content, and share this video with someone you think could benefit from these tips. Together, we can achieve a stronger memory and a fuller life.